Yes, hello there, Mod Extra, thrilling fantasy adventure fans. Chris here from the MOD, from Mod Extra. And something a little bit different today. It may surprise you to know. This is not the regularly scheduled programming that you're used to on this little channel of ours. I promise you, we've got like 3 installments worth that I need to get around to editing and uploading that we've live streamed over the last couple of months, and I'll get those done. I will get those done because I know some of you are clearly waiting on the edge of your seats to see how he got on with Appointment with Fear, Caesar Blood, and the Trial of Champions. And don't forget, we stream once a month on Twitch, on our Twitch channel. That's twitch.tv/modextra. That's where our Fighting Fantasy live streams go. So if you want to be there in the moment, rather than watching after the fact here on the YouTube archive, then you can do. But today is something completely different. Because you see, our beloved Fighting Fantasy has gone a little crowdfunding crazy this month of July 2023 and June, including June, because there are 2 crowdfunding projects, Fighting Fantasy related, that I wanted to just take a moment to share with you guys who hang out here on the Thrilling Fantasy Adventure Challenge, to give it a signal boost, to help the campaigns out a little bit, because I'm in on them, and I would like them to get funded, please. But also because I think they'd be of interest to you. Obviously, if you're one of the 26 subscribers who come to this channel to watch Fighting Fantasy read-throughs, then you might be interested in these 2 projects. So, let me give you the lowdown on these 2 things and see if there's something you might be interested in. Right, okay then, folks. So the first one I wanted to share with you was a Kickstarter campaign. You can see it down in my little live screen box here. I'm just sharing my screen for you to all take a look at. It's a Kickstarter campaign called Fighting Fantasy Adventures Campaign 1. Now, this is a card game version that can be played solo or co-op, card game version of our beloved Fighting Fantasy books. And in fact, as you can see here on the homepage there are 5 installments based on 4 books in total, which are The Warlock of Firetop Mountain, Island of the Lizard King, Deathtrap Dungeon, and The Forest of Doom. And The Forest of Doom is the book that has 2 parts to it, making the 5 in total that are included in this first campaign. So it's an adaptation of those Fighting Fantasy books into a card game format. Hanging around on their Discord and on their Board Game Geek page, I've seen their social media manager, I think her name's Cassie, mentioning or referring to it as a bit of a kind of escape room in a box style of game. Although there are levels of replayability, we are assured, through the choices that you make with the games. The campaign is doing all right. So today is the 7th of July that I'm recording. It may take me another couple of days to get this editing turned around. So there's 14 days left to go, and through 811 backers, they're under half of what they are seeking to achieve in terms of the campaign. There's a range of pledge levels. As you can see here, I've gone in on what's called the Kickstarter edition. It's listed as $60 Australian, which at the time of recording is about 32 quid UK, not including shipping, not including VAT. But you can see that they've got a very lovely detailed breakdown of the campaign. There are example rules on here, which always helps. They've sent preview copies out to respected reviewers on YouTube, and you can find links here on the campaign page to go and have a look, as well as their own little mini tutorial around the gameplay, so you can really get a grasp of how it's played, what it looks and feels like. The artwork looks great, the presentation looks great. There has been a bit of back and forth with the community around the stretch goals, so if I continue scrolling down, you'll see when I get to the stretch goal section, there's nothing listed currently, but again, I've been hanging around on their Discord, I've been hanging around on their Board Game Geek page, and it sounds like they've got some really interesting, great ideas as to what's going to be included in the stretch goals. The guy who's designed it, Martin Wallace, a very well-known board game designer in the industry. He's a little bit, his stuff is the kind of railway, industrial stuff, empire building-y type things. That's not necessarily my pace, my cup of tea usually. But the guy's like, every game he puts out gets nominated for awards, and a fair number of them have won. I'd probably argue he's most famous for things like Brass, and his railway-related series. So he's a good pedigree, well known in the industry too, which brings a little bit of credibility to the project as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, a Fighting Fantasy multiplayer experience, although it does say it can be played solo, that seems to have been reviewed positively by those who've had a go at the preview edition that was sent out to them that's got a good, credible pedigree in terms of the design team. Communication appears to be great so far. Like I say, they've got a really active Discord, got a really active Board Game Geek page. The comments get replied to. There's been updates already in just the first week of the campaign being live. They've got a range of pledge levels as well to suit your budget, to suit your expectations and requirements. I've gone in on the Kickstarter edition, but there's a retail edition that's a little bit cheaper, about £21. There's collector's editions. You can get together with some mates and go in on a group pledge as well to help you out with shipping costs and such like. I think it's a really well put together campaign. I love the idea of it being a cooperative adaptation of the Fighting Fantasy games that we love so much. And yeah, I just think you folks should go and bid on it, because I reckon it'd be your cup of tea. Certainly if it does, if the campaign does fund, then expect when it ships in 2024 for me to be doing some streams and some videos based on this. So I'll make sure links are in the description down below to get you over to the Kickstarter and to the Discord group and such like, so you can get involved if that's something that tickles your fancy. The next one that I wanted to let you guys know about, which is on the screen right now, is being funded on unbound.com, and it's a book. It's called Magic Realms, The Art of Fighting Fantasy. And this looks great, getting very close to funding now, but another really well put together professional crowdfund. Kickstart's kickstarted. It looks really attractive, really interesting to fans of the Fighting Fantasy world. I know that a few of you mentioned in the comments down below that you want me to show more of the artwork and such like, so I reckon this would definitely appeal to those of you who are fans of the artwork over the years. That's what it is. It's a book that is a celebration of the art of fighting fantasy. If I just scroll through the campaign, you can see various different pledge levels. Here's one that's got some signed copies of Shadow the Giant and the Magic Realms book. You can go in on this crazy deal here, 220 quid, but it's got loads of kind of limited edition goodies, like some specially designed dice and a different edition of the book that's in a fancy box and things. I don't know, that's definitely out of my price range, that one, as much as I'd love to have some Fighting Fantasy dice and pencils and such like. But you can get the digital edition for 16 quid. You can get just a core hardback edition for 30 quid, which is, just standard pricing for a hardback coffee table book of that nature. You got the 40 quid edition that's signed. That's the one I've gone in on because I want Ian's name on, Ian and Jonathan Greer. There's autograph in there. But what's nice about this one is they've got some great examples on the page. If you go and have a look, there's prints of the maps. There's just tons of stuff. Look, loads of added value thrown in there as I scroll down. Again, I'm not going to go through it section by section. I'll pop a link in the description down below so that you folks can go and track it down and have a closer look for yourself. But what I will say is if you go to the About the Book section, really well put together. Example pages, giving you a sense of how it's been put together with information about the artists. Obviously, big full-page spreads of the artwork itself, which I think is really great. Obviously, there's the famous cover for the Forest of Doom. Look at that one. That's amazing. I don't know what that one's from. Someone let me know in the comments down below. I don't recognise that one personally. But yeah, all the black and white artwork from inside the pages of the books as well, so not just the covers. A really well put together campaign. The Q&A is regularly responded to, is active, it's lively, and it's Ian Livingstone himself responding in there as well, which is great, Ian and Jonathan. So really well put together campaign, good value, certainly no more expensive than you would expect for a hardback coffee table book of that nature. So it's not, it's not wildly out the realms of possibility. It's nearly funded anyway, so you might as well get stuck in on that. But I know that a few of you folks are into the artwork, and so I figured that would appeal. So yeah, link in the description down below, and I'll make sure it's the top pinned comment as well. All right, so there we go then, folks. Like I say, I'm sorry it's taken me so long to edit and post the videos that we've broadcast already live on our Twitch. I will get round to that. As I mentioned, we've got Appointment with Fear, we've got Sea of Blood, and we've got Trial of Champions yet to be posted, and we're about to do Robot Commando, I think, off my top of my head, or Rebel Planet maybe. I don't know, we're going a little bit out of order at the moment. So I'll get those done soon. But if either of those are of interest to you, then hopefully you found my video useful today. Just trying to help out the campaigns, give them a little bit of a signal boost in this small little community of ours that we have over here that love fighting fantasy. So thanks so much for your support. Thanks so much for just supporting the channel and keeping us going, keeping out for those new vids. And I hope you have a great day. I'll see you around these parts again sometime soon. See you later, folks.